So students, yesterday we have studied about the transcription in prokaryotes. Now today let us see what is and how the transcription in eukaryotes take place. So yesterday we have studied that in prokaryotes, that is in bacteria, how the transcription takes place. This is the DNA strand. This is promoter sequence. This is the sequence of DNA. And again this is terminator region. This is terminator sequence. This is called as promoter region. This is promoter region from where the transcription starts, and this is terminator region. Here the transcription ends. Now we shall form the RNA from this strand. So let us name this strand as template strand. This will be called as template strand. And this is coding strand. We know that though this strand does not code for anything, still it is called as coding strand. This is 3' end, this is 5' end. And obviously this will be 5' end and this is 3' end. Okay? And this entire portion, this portion is called a structural gene. This I am telling you about bacteria. This is called a structural gene. Now, to transcribe RNA, which enzyme we shall require? The enzyme is called as DNA dependent RNA polymerase. DNA dependent RNA polymerase. The enzyme is RNA polymerase, and at this enzyme depends on this DNA strand for the formation of RNA. So we call it a DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Okay. Now what will happen is that this RNA polymerase will climb here, and for climbing here it will require the help of sigma factor. It will require the help of sigma factor. So with the help of sigma factor, this RNA polymerase will climb here in the promoter region. It will study the sequence and start the transcription of RNA like this. The nucleotides will go on accumulating here till it reaches the terminator region. Okay? In the terminator region, it will take the help of rho factor. It will take the help of rho factor for termination of the transcription. Okay. Now this ready RNA will get detached from here and this will fall off. And again, one thing we have studied is that while describing this structural gene, we should always consider the coding strand. Okay, this formation of RNA takes place from 5' end to 3' end. As this is 3' end, so of course this will be 5' end and this will be 3' end. And the promoter region is situated at the 5' end. We should always describe this strand according to coding strand. So if you are asked on which strand the promoter region is situated, so it is 5' end. Okay, and at which region the terminator region is located, it is 3' end. Okay, just keep it in mind. Now what happens in eukaryotes? We the humans, as you know, we are superior than prokaryotes, the bacteria. So the transcription process is somewhat different in eukaryotes. In prokaryotes, we have seen that only one enzyme is necessary for the formation of RNA. But in eukaryotes, we require 3 different enzymes. Here, this enzyme needed the support of this factor, sigma factor, to climb promoter region. But in eukaryotes, there is no such need of any factor. The enzymes are not dependent on any factors. For termination, we require Rho factor. But in eukaryotes, we don't require any factor. Okay, so let us write down the names of the enzyme which we need for eukaryotes transcription. The first enzyme is RNA polymerase 1. The second one is RNA polymerase 2. And the third enzyme is RNA polymerase 3. These 3 enzymes are needed in eukaryotes for transcription. So which RNA they will transcribe? They will transcribe 28S rRNA. This is ribosomal RNA. Then 18S rRNA. Then 5.8S rRNA. These 3 RNA will get transcribed due to RNA polymerase 1. This is ribosomal RNA. As you know how the ribosome appears, it looks like a inverted bowl. It has a inverted bowl-like shape. The above portion is larger and this portion will be somewhat smaller. And this ribosome contains the pieces of RNA over here. This ribosome contains the pieces of RNA over here, and this RNA forms the ribosomes. And this also has got the enzymatic activities that I will tell you when we shall study translation. Now RNA polymerase second. It will give rise to HNRNA and messenger RNA. And RNA polymerase 3 will give transfer RNA, then 5 snRNA and srRNA. Okay, this enzyme will transcribe hnRNA and mRNA, and RNA polymerase 3 will help in forming transfer RNA, 5-snRNA and srRNA. The long form of hnRNA is heterogeneous nuclear. It is HN stands for heterogeneous nuclear. Please keep these three enzymes in mind, as these are given in NCERT books and can be asked in the NET examination. So this is very important. Please keep this in mind. Now, while forming RNA in eukaryotes, for forming this ribosomal RNA, we shall need RNA polymerase 1. So what will happen? This RNA polymerase 1 will climb over here in the promoter region. It will study the sequence and start the RNA formation from 5' end to 3' end. Once it reaches here, the RNA formation will stop and the RNA falls off like this. Okay, this will be the procedure for ribosomal RNA. Then same will be the procedure for transfer RNA. Only here the enzyme will change. It will be RNA polymerase 3. The same way the RNA polymerase 3 will climb here and it will start RNA transcription from here, and the process will end here and the RNA will fall off. This will be the procedure for transfer RNA. But for forming messenger RNA, it requires lot of modification. The messenger RNA requires lot of modification. Okay, and the enzyme involved is RNA polymerase 2. RNA polymerase 2 will form the messenger RNA. Okay, the same way this RNA polymerase 2 will climb over here. It will start accumulating the nucleotides, and once it reaches here, again the process terminates and the RNA falls off like this. But now this RNA which we have received is not messenger RNA. This RNA is called as hnRNA. This RNA is called as hnRNA. This is 5' end and this is 3' end. Okay, to convert this hnRNA into messenger RNA, we require 3 steps. Such as capping, splicing and tailing. We require capping, splicing and tailing. These three modifications are done in the hnRNA to convert it into messenger RNA. So what happens is that a cap-like structure is formed here. A cap-like structure is formed here. This is called as capping, and this cap is made up of methyl guanosine triphosphate. This cap is made up of methyl guanosine triphosphate. Please remember this name. This is a pentose sugar. If you attach guanosine over here, then one methyl group, then this is one phosphate group, this is another phosphate group, and this is another phosphate group. This is called as methyl guanosine triphosphate. Okay. This methyl guanosine triphosphate forms this cap of the hnRNA. Now let us form the tail. It has a beautiful tail like this, and this tail is form of adenylate residues. This is adenylate residue. The tail is form of adenylate residues, and their quantity is about 200 to 300. Please also remember this. This is given in the NCERT book. Their quantity is about 200 to 300. Now we have done capping, we have done tailing. Now let us see how splicing is done. Splicing is nothing but cutting. This hnRNA is cut down here. Okay. This process is called splicing. Suppose this is hnRNA. This is the cap and this is the tail. Okay. Now remember that this entire hnRNA does not form protein. Okay, there are some regions there which only forms proteins, and other regions does not form proteins. The regions which form protein, suppose this region forms protein. Suppose these regions form proteins, they are called as exon. They are called as exon. This will be also called as exon. This will be also called as exon. And this space which does not form any protein, this is called as intron. This is called as intron. Okay, this is exon and this is intron. Now what happens is that this intron forms a villi-like structure over here. These introns form a villi-like structure over here. This and the sRNA enters over here. It has complementary strands, so it forms these complementary strands over here. And as this sRNA has enzymatic activity, it cuts this intron from here. It cuts the intron from here. Okay, it cuts the intron from here, and these introns are removed. These introns are removed, and finally all exons are attached, and introns are removed, and we get the final product, that is messenger RNA. After all this modification, we get our final product, the messenger RNA. It has a beautiful cap over here. Here is a tail. Now this is called as messenger RNA. Okay, and one more thing you should keep it in mind, that this entire process takes place in the nucleus. As you know, the eukaryotes nucleus is present, and in prokaryotes nucleus is absent. So this entire process of capping, splicing and tailing takes place in the nucleus, and once the messenger RNA is formed, it comes out of the nucleus and it enters into cytoplasm, and in cytoplasm then it starts the translation activity, that is formation of protein. Okay, this is the process of transcription in eukaryotes. Let us study one more topic, then we can end our today's class. Suppose this is a gene. Now in prokaryotes we have studied that a cistron is a part of gene which forms the complete protein. So from this gene is nothing but DNA. From this gene we have issued this messenger RNA, and from this RNA suppose this protein is formed. Now one thing you should know, that though while forming messenger RNA there were introns and exons, but now the introns are removed, and this is total one unit. This messenger RNA is total 1 unit. So one RNA is formed from one gene, and this one RNA will produce one protein. So we call that the genes in eukaryotes are monocystotic. The genes in eukaryotes are monocystotic, while in prokaryotes the genes are polycystotic, and in eukaryotes it is monocystotic. Okay students, I hope you understood the process of transcription. So tomorrow we shall study what is translation. If you like, please share and like the video. Thank you.